My 2-year-old daughter is a legitimate target of resistance. That is what they are selling. You are allowed to murder and kidnap my 2-year-old daughter in the name of resistance. And none of the presidents of universities all around the country are willing to take a stand. This is what cowards do. President Minouche Shafik of Columbia University, you are a coward. If my amazing 2-year-old daughter was now 18 years old, I would never send her to Columbia. People have asked me in the past few days, are you not afraid to speak up? You're putting your job on the line. I am not afraid to speak up. I am speaking up because I'm afraid. I am 40 years old and I was shivering to come to my own employment. Imagine not being able to go to your work because your boss does not value your life.
Harvard Law Professor Emeritus Alan Dershowitz joins me. Alan, your thoughts about these campuses, these professors?
Well, so many of the professors are not only cowards, they want to hide behind organizations. They claim that if their names are published, they're being doxxed. That's not what doxing is all about. Nobody should have the right to be a member of the Ku Klux Klan, to support lynching of blacks, to support shooting of gays, to support the claim that people who are raped deserve to be raped. And that's what these people did. There's no apology for that. They don't belong in academia. If they were making statements about African American gays, they'd immediately be terminated. You have to have the same standards of free speech and academic freedom for all. And if this would not be tolerated, if directed against blacks and gays and women, it should not be tolerated when directed against Jews of the nation state of the Jewish people. And there's much worse. Remember, these are only the things that we have seen publicized in classrooms all over the country. In classrooms, teachers are attacking Jews. Teachers are saying to their students, if you're Jewish, move to that side of the room. If you're not Jewish, the other side. You know what it made me think? Like, I taught students for almost 60 years. I knew somebody, I read about somebody in Germany, a professor in Germany who used to teach German students. He loved his students. And he ended up being marched into the gas chambers by one of his own students. And that's what I think of when I think of these students who are supporting these horrible things. They're our students. What has gone wrong?
Well, this is a little off the student thing, but you know, this is the most appalling one to me. I mean, every day I think this is the worst. This is the worst. This is a Beverly Hills, California radiologist. He's a doctor, Andrew Thierry, Thierry. I'll read it. He called Jews pedophiles, genocidal, greedy, and demonic. Then when he got called out, this is his apology. I apologize if anyone interpreted my words the wrong way. I mean, how do you interpret pedophiles, genocidal, greedy, demonic? Then he goes on and says, I love everyone, which includes Jews and all God's children. I am most critical of my own government and all of the wars the U.S. is involved in. And he goes on, he goes, I apologize if I offended anyone. I mean, pedophiles, genocidal, greedy, and demonic, you think that's an if. I only have love in my heart, which breaks any time innocent humans suffer. What is wrong with these people?
He may have love in his heart, but he shouldn't have any people in his waiting room. Nobody should go to a doctor. Nobody should go to a doctor who calls Jews by names like that. That's Nazism.
But he doesn't. I mean, the insanity of it. He says, if anyone interpreted my words the wrong way. I mean, look, Google it. Pedophiles, genocide, greedy, demonic. I can't find any other words except what I think they mean.
Of course not. And what he's saying, he's trying to have it both ways. A lot of these people are trying to have it both ways because they have customers, clients, students. It's cowardice. They don't want to offend anybody. That's what's going on with the administrations and universities. But we're fighting back. A lot of very wealthy donors, many of them friends of mine, not all Jewish. Huntsman, for example, who's a Mormon, has cut off all aid to his alma mater unless there is a reckoning, the same kind of reckoning that occurred when George Floyd was killed. Every school looking at its curriculum, looking at its admission policies, looking at its deans in relation to African Americans, they must do the same thing in relation to Jews. And if they don't, They're not getting another nickel from me, and they're not getting any support from me. And I hope that there'll be many others who will follow the same lead.
You know, I don't know what's going on. I mean, we're looking at the Ivy League schools. We practically have to have perfect, scores to get in. I tell you, if I had a kid college age, I'd hope my kid wouldn't get a perfect score, because you look at the, these are the people that are going to be, going to run the country later. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, yeah, but Harvard, Cornell, Stanford, Columbia. I mean, these are the people. They're going to be the federal judges. They're going to be all the people in positions, senators, everything. This is where these people are. That's where these students are.
And it's just as bad in the private SUNY, City College of New York, where I went as an undergraduate to Brooklyn College, is among the worst, most bigoted, most anti-Semitic schools in the country. The law school has become the Der Stürmer, the Nazi propaganda wing of the City University of New York, having as a graduation speaker a bigoted anti-Semite, the faculty voting unanimously to boycott Israel and only Israel among all the countries in the world, and teaching their students horrible things in the classroom itself.
All right, and I've also looked at my alma maters, University of Wisconsin undergrad and Georgetown Law. They are both doing terrible things. There have been terrible examples there as well, and I don't see any leadership at either institution. Anyway, I'm going to take the last word on that. Professor Alan Dershowitz, thank you, sir.